later edit the thumbnail and put some text there and point at it. Oh, wrong finger. This is very confusing. Okay, pointing at the cushion. Anyway, hopefully there'll be a thumbnail saying, use this idea. This is a follow-up to yesterday's live video. I've got my notebook here. So here I am telling you, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And let's lead by example. So yesterday's video was about the unusual sighting of what may or may not have been a hummingbird, but to me, from where I was, it looked rather large, but it was a hummingbird shape. And I gave you a lot of ideas. Now I'm going to show you something I did this morning. I think I'm going to do this on the regular, as has become a popular thing, on a regular basis. So before we go any further, here's a little artwork I put together. There you are. Press like, please. Nothing like begging, is there? So I thought, okay, let's flesh it out, because this is how I normally write a story. So first of all, my genre is cozy horror. So it's horror which is not necessarily gory and a bit supernatural, not necessarily ghosts, but sometimes. So I'm not going to write in the romance genre, and I don't think I'd be that good at comedy, and I wouldn't be good at sci-fi, and I wouldn't be that good at fantasy, and I forget what the other genre was, action and thriller. So, but I'm not too bad at a bit of horror. And so here we go. First of all, I started with what can we do with a hummingbird which is too big? Huge, in fact. I exaggerated it. And so I made a list of things. Now, what you need when you're writing a story, what I need at least, is some emotional involvement, not in the story. I want the story to involve one of my emotions. And there are a lot of different emotions, which I have also written down. Those emotions can be fear, indignation, comedy, pity, something bad happens, and oh, poor little thing, and or ow, that hurts, ooh, and you start there. That is a starting point for me of wanting to write this particular story. And so it was kind of a pity, comedy, indignation, fear, ouch. Oh well, another one would be wow, curiosity. Start with an emotion, and then you will want to write the story. So the emotion here was curiosity, and what I've written out here, I don't know if you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then as I was writing, as happens, you get some other ideas. Now, my strategy is to start with the bare bones of a story and then see where it goes from there. So I'm a bit of a plotter, a bit of a pantser, as they say, by the seat of the pants. But I do like something of a plot. And once I've got some bare bones written out, then I can go in between and edit it. And do like rewriting. It's the actual construction of the story which is a bit frustrating at first. Okay, we're at 3:43. Let's go. So the initial things, and I've got some thoughts for afterwards. So I wrote these out. Okay, where's the camera? And then I revisited or wrote out some extra points which occurred to me after I'd written them out, which to me would improve the story. So the idea was that somebody is visited by a giant hummingbird. I thought, well, okay. But what if, the very important words, what and if, what if it turned out to be not a very friendly hummingbird? And if I'm going to write cozy horror, then it had better not just be a hummingbird which is looking for nectar, but it does want sustenance. Now, what is a staple of horror? Vampires. So we got a vampire hummingbird, haven't we? I've left the ending out of the bag. So first of all, we start off with number 1, tapping on door. Door has frosted glass, so our protagonist cannot see what's going on. Then 2, giant hummingbird is hovering. 2A, a moment admiring its jewel colored plumes. That's the person in the story. 3, can't read my own writing. Oh, tongue the length of an adult whips out, wraps around your neck. But first it whips your cheek and it's raspy. So you need a bit of a build-up. You need things to gradually become worse and worse and worse. So first of all, it whips your cheek and you go, oh, that's cute. Ooh, ouch, that hurts. And then it whips around your neck and it's still raspy. And then 4, the expression in the hummingbird's eyes harden. And 5, because wings beat so fast, they're blurry and invisible. And I would imagine there'd be a bit of a wind. See, thinking as I go along. And then 6, the tongue tightens and blood drips onto t-shirt, begins pulling him or her onto, have to be a him really, onto the porch. The beak widens, and then I've written thoughts, vampire hummingbird question mark, will bite my head off. I don't know, that's an attempt at a joke that was this morning. Then in red, thoughts arising out of the above. 1, first, looks out of the lounge window and thinks, wow, gorgeous, got to get a selfie. So when he opens the door, he's got his back turned to the hummingbird and he's holding the camera up to take a selfie. Let's enact this, shall we? Let's act it out. It'll make the story more real. Oh, here I am with a phone, not taking a selfie because the computer's doing it for me. And then item 6, the tongue tightens. So 6A, pulls our protagonist, our main character, our victim, towards the bill, which is pointed like a spear tip. So, you know, hummingbirds have these really sharp bills. Bill, beak, that thing, okay? And 7, oh, I did something. Because it's a horror genre, ending can be bad. It doesn't have to be a happy ending. And then 8, the main character fights to turn, drops the camera, tries to prise open the bill, and we could have one of these holding your breath or trying not to blink moments where you just and all the strength's burning out of the muscles, and then hypoxia, and then dies, and then somebody finds, it's found footage, I guess. They find the camera, come along later and say, oh, look, wow, that's a big bird, or something like that. Or, you know, that would be a story in progress, and that would make a fairly good piece of flash fiction. So a bit of cozy horror, and who knows what. You could have a series, maybe next time it's a whole flock of these birds, and Alfred Hitchcock style, they terrorize a village, and then human beings being human beings, they don't just let them go or whatever, they decide they're going to have to annihilate them. So that'd be horrific as well. However, that's it. That's what I did to develop that story. Now, I promise I didn't have this until this morning, and I posted the other video last night. So this is all out of my head, and I'm going to do this, I think. What I'll do is I'll post something, or 2 or 3 ideas maybe, I don't know, and then I'll pick one, and then the next day hopefully come up with the bare bones of a story. And maybe there may be the possibility I'll put 10 of these together as a collection and put them on Amazon or somewhere and see if anybody bites. I may even end up, day 3 or whatever, reading them aloud, but that's on a different channel. That's on a different channel. It's Cozy Horror Shorts, as in short stories, but they're not there. But if you want to go and check that out, you'll find a certain character, Professor Lucius Bloodmoon, reading a story called The Song of the Lake Dwellers, which again started off with an idea like this. Okay, that's it. 9:30. I definitely want to keep these under 10 minutes. So good evening and have fun writing. Don't forget, the best ideas are the ones from your own life. Okay, bye-bye.